just wait till everyone comes in. Well, hello. It's great to be back in Townsville for what I believe to be one of the most significant announcements for this region, and I'm pleased to be joined. You know, it's significant when the Deputy Premier is with me as well. We've got the Deputy Premier, we've got Minister Stewart, we've got Aaron, and we've got the Mayor. We've also got representatives from Fortescue and also Windlab, and I welcome Felicity and John. So today is an exciting day for Townsville because we know that 6 weeks ago we announced our Energy and Jobs Plan. That has been a magnet for investment attraction. This is great news for Queensland and means thousands and thousands of jobs. So today we're pleased to announce that there is going to be a super hub here in Townsville, in the Townsville region, based around Hughenden. We will build the super grid from Townsville to Hughenden. This will mean billions of dollars of investment. Essentially what we're talking about today is 10 gigawatts, which is the size of all of the renewable investment currently in New Zealand. And it's happening here in North Queensland. This is fantastic news for the local economy, for the local people, but also to our Energy and Jobs Plan is a standout in the nation. When we put this together, we wanted to make a landmark statement that we have the plan to take Queensland into the next decade and beyond, making sure that we attract the investment into renewables, creating the jobs that we need of the future. Now, we're here at the local TAFE. This TAFE, of course, and TAFEs across this region will become the epicentre of training, linking in with our schools, so there will be jobs galore right across this region. I'm incredibly proud today to be here for this significant announcement. I thank Fortescue for being here as well. So I'll hand over to the Deputy Premier to say a few words, the local members, Fortescue, and of course the Mayor and John. Thanks, DP.
Thanks so much, Premier. Queensland and North Queensland in particular are blessed with world-leading solar, wind and pumped hydro resources, and we are determined to leverage those natural advantages into economic advantages and into jobs. When we released the Queensland Energy and Jobs Plan, we said that that $62 billion investment would create jobs right around the state, but mostly in the regions, and that it would draw investment from right around the world to create jobs in regional Queensland. And with this massive announcement today, we can see the proof. We can see the proof that this super grid is drawing in super investments, in this case, a super hub. The Premier put some perspective on the scale, comparing it to New Zealand. This 10 gigawatt project is twice the amount of renewables approved in Queensland over the last 7 years. So if you take all of the great work we've done on large-scale renewables the last 7 years, this single announcement is nearly twice that big. It's almost half the entire 22 gigawatts projected within the Queensland Renewable Energy and Jobs Plan. Of course, it's around Hughenden, which is both connected to the super grid and also is about halfway along Copper String 2.0's planned transmission line. And I note that today they received their Australian Government environmental approval, certainly a very welcome and important step for Copper String that we know will be so crucial for ongoing economic development here in the north. We are determined to use all of this energy to create jobs here and then to export it to the world through hydrogen, and that is FFI's plan. Felicity will talk more about that, I'm sure. What's great about working with companies like FFI is they're not just trying to get a little bit of the future clean energy economy. They want as much of it as they can get, and that is very much Queensland's approach too. We are determined not just to go for a niche, not just to go for a part of it, but to get as much of it as we possibly can, including working with FFI.
We might go to Felicity next, if you don't mind, Felicity. Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
Premier. Thanks, Deputy Premier. And it's a real treat to be here in Townsville today. Townsville and North Queensland continue to live up to their potential as a renewable energy powerhouse. And we know that the effects of climate change and conflict in Europe, we're feeling those effects here in Australia through extreme weather events, but also through increased energy prices. And the way to solve all of that is through building renewable energy at scale. It's hot enough up here today for us to realise we've got enough sun to not just use power for ourselves, but to be able to help power the world. And capturing that solar energy during the day and the energy from the wind that blows at night will help push down the cost of energy for Queenslanders. Connecting this energy to the grid will help decarbonise Queensland's power system. Using this energy to produce green hydrogen will help decarbonise Australia's transport industry and also countries around the world. And then operating that hydrogen flexibly will mean that renewable energy can be delivered to Queenslanders when they need it most. Our announcement today, with the ongoing help and support of the Queensland Government and our partner Windlab, could, as you've heard, bring over 10 gigawatts of renewable energy capacity to the region, with generation starting as early as 2027. Not only delivering against the Queensland Government's bold energy and jobs plan, but accelerating it. As we develop these world-scale projects, FFI and Windlab are committed to ensuring we include the voices of those who've cared for this land for tens of thousands of years, and to ensure that any development delivers benefits for traditional owners and for all other parts of the community. FFI is grateful for the long-standing relationships our partner Windlab has in the region and in Flinders Shire, and we look forward to working together as we grow. The Premier mentioned that local workforce will be key, and training centres like this TAFE here in Bowley will be integral to enabling these projects. And thanks to the head start provided by Windlab's experience in the region, FFI's North Queensland Super Hub is not just an idea, but it's real and it's happening now. The first 1.8 gigawatts are already in detailed planning, and development approval applications will be submitted shortly. And that's what FFI is set up to do, to accelerate renewable generation and green hydrogen projects and develop them at a scale and a speed to wean the world off our addiction to fossil fuels. And the North Queensland Super Hub is one big step in that direction.
Well, what a great day for North Queensland. This isn't just about cheap and reliable power. This is about jobs, jobs and jobs, both in the construction but also the long-term jobs when it comes to particularly the resource sector. So one of the key things we hear from our resource sector is the cost of energy. The cost of power is sometimes a prohibiting factor for them getting up off the ground. This now sets a great future for those small-time mining operators who want to get off the ground, who will employ our kids who are sitting in our classrooms today into our future workforce. We know that one of the biggest components that the world is looking for is critical minerals, and we have got an abundance of those in the Northwest Minerals Province. But they also want ethically sourced. This is our ESG credentialing. We can lead the world when it comes to our ESG credentialing, which we know European countries will certainly thrive for. So this now is about a great future about pit to port, but now this energy will allow us to do pit to product. So we can start the manufacturing from the critical minerals that we extract out of the ground. We can do our manufacturing right here in North Queensland because the kids will be able to get their trade here at TAFE and apply that in the real world. This is outstanding. This is exciting. This is a real future for North Queensland.
Fantastic to have the Premier and Deputy Premier here today, and it's a very proud day for North Queensland. I want to thank Fortescue and Windlab for investing in North Queensland, and Premier, only 6 weeks after you've announced our $62 billion jobs and energy plan, we are delivering already. And I want to give a shout out, Premier, if you don't mind, to our regional forum members that are meeting in Hewenden today. It's a proud day for everyone that lives right across that Northwest Minerals Province, as the Minister said, because this will help, what's the great saying, build it and they will come. That's right. And we are going to see thousands of jobs created right here in our community to help build the renewable future for Queensland, and we should be incredibly proud of that.
Thanks, Meg. You don't leave me much to say. So, firstly, if I can speak for Jane McNamara and for the people in Hughenden along the corridor, I'm sure she will be very pleased with this announcement. I've spoken to Jane time and time again about what renewable could mean for Hughenden and could start to reinvigorate the town. Cheap energy, hopefully, and sourced through renewable power. It means then that maybe they can get a meatworks back. So that could be the outcome of something like this. But what is renewable energy? What is hydrogen? I call it the dilithium crystals that run spaceships like you see in Star Trek. Renewable energy. It's about the only way I can describe it and get a headline in the media. Look, there's no doubt that science is moving forward and the community is catching up with it. The use of hydrogen, renewables to produce hydrogen is very important, especially for us in developing Lansdowne. We want to develop a manufacturing precinct where industry goes in and has energy sourced through renewables. There is no doubt that having those credentials is going to be very important as we move into the future, particularly trading with countries such as America and European countries. We have to move our mindset into that headspace if particularly the North Queensland region is going to be able to remain functional in exporting. And it should be noted that the CSIRO picked this region as being the best region for the production of green hydrogen. The first thing we need is good, solid, reliable, renewable energy, and this is what this project will bring. There's only one missing link now, and I'm hopeful to convince the government that we need the next part of that missing link as part of the energy superhighway.
I agree, Mayor. Everything's been said. So, what I might do is just, I think the Premier and the Queensland Government should be congratulated because we've known for 20 years at Windlab that there's world-class renewable energy resource out around Hughenden. We've had the Kennedy Energy Park up and running for a while, and that's really given us the foundation to work with the local community and traditional owners to develop that resource. And the missing bit was how do we get the power out of this fantastic region, and the Queensland Energy and Jobs Plan is allowed to achieve that. So you're to be commended.
Thank you. Okay. Thanks. We'll take some questions on this first. So any questions to myself or Felicity or...
Premier, how does this connect in with the Copper Stream 2.0 project? Obviously, we've seen, as you said, that federal government approval has come through for that recently.
That's fantastic news to see those environmental approvals, and of course we have Copper Stream and the Super Grid, so we'll be working to work out the timeline of those two. Yeah.
When might we see construction begin on this project?
My understanding is that we could see as early, we've already got some wind farms out there at the moment, but as you heard from Felicity, 1.8 gigawatts already in the pre-planning phase, so that is fantastic. So we would like to see more of this operational by 2027.
Have those approvals from Felicity's company been presented to the government?
Not at the moment, no.
And the government will build the transmission line rather than the copper link private company?
So we are building the Super Grid that was outlined in the plan.
Will the government look to be taking over Copper Stream at any stage? Is that
We have got the environmental approvals through, so the next stage will be the Deputy Premier's portfolio probably to assess that. Yeah.
Just on crime, Premier, we've heard a lot of people recently...
Okay, so any more questions on this? We might let Fortescue and John go.
Just one more, Premier. Do you envisage Townsville and the North Queensland area just being the hub for Queensland in energy 20, 30 years from now?
Honestly, if this is going to transform this region, and we know that there is massive interest in exports of our hydrogen to be used, well, first of all, to be used domestically. Secondly, there's huge interest from Japan and also South Korea about purchasing hydrogen. And of course, this is our phasing out from the reliance on coal-fired power stations, transitioning through to our clean, renewable energy future.
Do we have enough people to fill the jobs that will be required for this sort of project?
We are going to need thousands of workers. So I say to a young student out there thinking about what they want to do with their lives, There is a lot of interest in young people in climate change, and this is great opportunities for great jobs in this region for them.
Does it mean Fortescue's also interested in hydrogen production in Townsville?
You'll have to ask Fortescue that.
We're absolutely looking at this initially as a generation project, which will underpin both domestic requirements for that power, but also hydrogen production in the North Queensland region.
Not necessarily by Fortescue, though, the hydrogen production, or...
Yes, by Fortescue, green hydrogen is a core part of our strategy. We believe in electrify everything with renewable energy, and where you can't, you have to fill in the gaps with a green molecule like green hydrogen.
Okay, I'm happy to take some extra. Any other questions now?
Just on crime, Premier,
Yes.
I've seen a lot of people in the community have been expressing that they feel like they're not being heard by the state government after repeated incidents at the weekend, especially of cars being stolen and properties being vandalised. What's your response to those members of the community that don't feel like they're being heard?
What I can say very clearly is that we have put in place an extra 92 police officers in this region. Our commitment is very clearly to expanding our number of police officers right across this state. We also have a presumption against bail. Now, that is very tough. It's perhaps one of the toughest laws dealing with that particular cohort. It is tough legislation, and we are seeing some early results from that. So we know that we have the police working very cooperatively with youth justice here in Townsville, and of course where we can do more, we will be doing more.
Early results coming in, but when will we see those rates start to drop down more if it's only just those early results coming in?
Well, we already are seeing some good numbers. So we are seeing that, let me just get that for you. I'll get it for you after, but there's like thousands of people, plus we've got the police prosecutors going through those bail applications as well. So there's a lot of work happening across the criminal justice system dealing with the young people, but I'll get that for you.
Premier, we are aware that children from Papua New Guinea have been left to die from tuberculosis after being referred away from Queensland health clinics in the Torres Strait.
No, I'm not. No. Can I just confirm that, please? Yes, we need to confirm those facts.
Okay.
Yep.
Australian ABC today.
Yeah. No, I'll have to get that. I'll have to get it confirmed. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
And what do you say to concerns, I guess, that Queensland health staff may be opting not to evacuate PNG patients with severe tuberculosis infections in order to keep costs down?
No, we do know that there has been exchange of health services where people have come to get treatment in the past in the Torres Strait. I know that COVID has had an impact, so please, I just want to get some information before I confirm anything further.
Just on the Brisbane Watch House, have you heard that audio that was released last night, and what do you think of it?
I've heard reports of it. I've heard certain excerpts from it. It is horrific, okay? And let me say very clearly that there is no place for people, for police officers, to be racist in their language.
And why did the Minister's Office react when they received that whistleblower's letter 4 weeks ago?
You'll have to talk to the Minister's Office, the Minister, about that. He's happy to talk to you about that.
About that?
Well, you can talk to him about it.
When will the government be releasing its response to Migrant Curley's second domestic violence report?
Look, we are working through those issues. It's a very detailed report, and of course our government will be giving that very serious, careful consideration.
And just also on the DV report, why don't you have the implementation supervisors appointed as part of domestic violence reforms?
We'll have to ask the relevant minister. My understanding is that they are in the process of recruiting that person.
And so any timeline on that person?
You'll have to ask the Attorney General's office.
Just
Okay.
also on
Last couple, yeah.
Link Energy project, is there a cover-up of overtoxic chemicals near the former Link Energy project?
Yeah, that's a very serious issue. I think the Deputy Premier's got some more information on that. The last I heard was that the Environment Minister had ordered a departmental to give her advice on that through the independent regulator, but I know the DP's got some more advice on that one.
Thanks, Premier. My understanding is that the Department of Environment and Science has continued to test both the ground and groundwater at the Link site and on surrounding sites. They notified landholders of the results of those tests on their properties, which identified that there was not contamination. They did find low to negligible levels of contamination on nearby road reserves, which they did not notify the landholders of. I understand the Minister has now said that she expects the Department of Environment and Science to notify those landholders, even though it's below the threshold for public notification and even though it is not on their properties. But in the interest of ensuring that those landholders have all of the available information, look, I know these people. I know this case. It is one of the biggest environmental investigations, certainly the biggest in Queensland's history, and one of the biggest in the world. And for the opposition to accuse our minister of some kind of cover-up is just cruel towards those landholders. They have had 6-7 years of uncertainty, years of dealing with this and what it means for their properties, their ability to produce goods, their ability to sell their properties, and it is highly unhelpful for the opposition to be out there sensationalising this for their political benefit when ultimately the damage will be felt by those landholders.
Just one more question for you, Premier. Sure. Just Harvey Bay was the worst in the state in terms of 293 people in the ED for more than 24 hours. Signalling the extent of bed block, which is adding to revenue too. What's being done there to relieve pressure in Harvey Bay and Windlab and the hospitals?
Yeah, well, our government's invested in building a new emergency department, which I have visited. And let me also say, Queenslanders know that we've had the impacts of COVID, and with COVID we had staff off, and now we are seeing those levels come down. However, I do want to note that what we have seen is the start of that fourth wave as well. So can I also please say to people out there, if you do have any symptoms, please get tested, get your RAT tests out, because we really need to protect our most vulnerable citizens. And of course, that's our seniors, people going through cancer treatment. We need to look after the vulnerable in our community. So if you do have symptoms and you are sick, please stay at home and get tested. It's very important that you do that.
Would you consider introducing another mask mandate in the future if necessary?
No, it's up to people now to make those decisions, but people in that more vulnerable category may be thinking very seriously when they go to shopping centres or cinemas. They may themselves put masks on, and people should show respect to others doing that because it's their choice. Okay? Thank you.